The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Tokusatsu Podcastu, the best show about tokusatsu you probably never heard of, and I'm AJ. Jay, did we watch something today?
I think so. I watched something. I don't know about you.
Did we? Did we watch something?
Well, you watched like half of something, maybe. I watched something.
I won't lie. I actually did watch a little bit more than the ones that you recommended, mainly because one of the ones that you recommended me to skip was not supposed to be skipped.
See, I warned you. I was like, well, you can kind of skip that one, but it can be a little confusing, but also nothing else happens,
So we're talking about Power Rangers. I was going to do STD, but I don't even give a shit enough to say it that way. So SPD, supposedly one of the best in the Disney era. If that's the case, fuck if we ever have to do Wild Force or any of the other ones.
Well, Wild Force doesn't really count, but...
Well, we'll talk about that whenever we actually get to Wild Force.
Fair enough.
So, this is our second foray into the Disney Power Rangers. Well, and to be fair, our second foray into Power Rangers in general. So, a lot better than Operation Overdrive, I'll say that.
I mean, it's not hard to be. Fair enough, so...
Yeah. Well, okay. It's weird. The show's weird, honestly. and again, like I said earlier, like, Jay had kind of given me, like, the bullet points of what episodes I did not really need to watch. But I did watch a couple of more just to give me a bit more flavor, just give me a bit more about the characters and shit like that. And while it helped... Well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about our characters. So, first we talk about, I guess we talk about Jack. There's really not much to just talk about. Just Jack and shit to say about him.
Jack is kind of fun. He's enjoyable. Well, you can pretty much say this about everybody in the show. He's basically just kind of a lazy copy of Bond, where
is he?
He's kind of an idiot. He kind of doesn't really give a shit about his job, except for when he wants to give a shit about his job. Then he's just like the best there is. But he's just kind of fucking around most of the time, and he's just kind of like enjoying the fact that he's like a space cop. Basically, he's just there for the thrill of it. He doesn't really give a shit about laws or anything like that.
And I didn't mind Jack at all. He was fine. It's just, and I mentioned this when I was watching it, and I was watching it along on the Discord. He kind of feels like he shouldn't be there. Like, I get it. That's his character, that he doesn't really care about being a ranger, really. Well, I mean, he does, I guess, sometimes when the writer remembers that he does. But, like, he kind of feels like, and I said this earlier, and I guess we'll talk about it more when we get to Sky. He kind of feels like he's only there to piss Sky off. Like, literally, that's the only reason I think he's there. Because outside of that, well, he does come into his own. Like, I do like his character. His character's fine, and it comes into his own as being a Red. I still just feel like at the end of the day, he was just there to piss off Sky. And it was just like... it just kind of felt weird to me. He felt like I felt like in any other show, he would be like the guy they replace the Red Ranger with to show the Red Ranger he's doing a shitty job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when they do that kind of episode. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, and he felt like that. But again, I did like him. It's just like, I'll say it again. He was there just to piss Sky off, basically.
And that's the thing, is that, like, again, it goes into them. They kind of copied what Deku Ranger did, but they did it a little lazy. So they kind of copied his and Hoji's relationship, but they didn't copy any of the fun parts or what made it work. So he's just fucking around and pissing off Sky, and he doesn't really have any. He doesn't really like. There's really no reason for him to be pissing off Sky. He's just kind of deliberately being a dink most of the time, and
yeah,
he doesn't really like Sky doesn't really have any like good reason to hate him other than the fact that he's just kind of a nuisance most of the time, and he's mostly just mad because he's red, and that's basically it.
I'm disappointed you didn't say that Sky wasn't racist against black people.
I mean, well, he's
cyborgs.
racist against aliens, he's racist against mutants and cyborgs. I'm surprised he's not racist against black people.
He kind of looks like he would be.
Yeah.
Not saying anything about the actor. We're not saying anything about him, but you know. No, but yeah, like, but as a red, he is fine. I liked him. He had a lot of his moments where he kind of brought this weird what's it I'm trying to think of the word, and I can't for some reason. The out of the ordinary, I guess you could say, like not non-traditional wisdom to the Red Ranger, where you can tell like a lot of his wisdom comes from the streets. And again, that's not because he's black. He's literally... I can't say anything because it all sounds bad.
This is why you leave that stuff to me, because I don't care.
It's not because he's black, because he's a thief or anything. It's just he's a homeless person.
Because
God damn it!
It's because he's a homeless person and he steals stuff, and it doesn't have...
He's not Samuel Benta.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's not a thief because he's an asshole. He's an asshole and a thief, but he doesn't steal because he's an asshole. Wait a second. Hang on. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, the actor's not a thief.
No.
We'll say that.
No, he's not a thief in real life. Maybe. We don't know. Never been confirmed. Unlike Samuel Benta, who has been confirmed.
Well, I mean, unlike Samuel Benta, this guy still got to work.
Yeah,
so.
there's that too.
No, but okay, so... But, like, seriously, like, he does bring it, like, an unconventional... That's the word. An unconventional wisdom to the Red Ranger role, where it's, like, a lot of his wisdom is from the streets. He is very much, like, street smart. And I like that, because because, you know, usually... Sometimes you'll get a Red who's literally just fucking brain dead, or a Red who is extremely uptight and strict. And he does that perfectly... That perfect balance of just, like... Well, no, he obviously knows what he's doing, because, you know, he's had to live this long on the street. Mm-hmm. But he's not, you know, stupid when it comes to, you know, actual things.
Yeah. He kind of
I like that.
He kind of balances a little bit. Sometimes he'll be 100% by the book, just like doing what he's supposed to do as a ranger, and usually just to fuck around with somebody else, just to be like, hey, this is what you want out of me. I'm doing exactly what you're asking me for. And then other times,
the entire episode where he's just like, "Oh, I'm the Red Ranger. I can do what the fuck I want."
You jackasses have to do what I say. I'm the Red Ranger. It's like, this is what you asked for, Sky. What do you expect, Dick? You know, stuff like that.
And I liked him. I did like him. And honestly, it's... I don't know if this happened in the Sentai. Maybe I shouldn't even ask, because one day we will do this. I mean, I'll forget. Whatever. So...
Well, I mean... You've basically already seen about 60% of Deca Ranger, and that's being generous. So,
well, I should add, like, this is basically, and I don't know if they do this in the Sentai as well, but this is probably one of the first times that a Red Ranger just kind of says, "Oh, my job's done, so I can just give it up, I guess."
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's another surprising thing, is that like he just fucking bails, dude. It's like, yeah, the show's over. I'm fucking done with this hero shit. I'm gonna go get laid. You know, hey, I don't blame him.
I'm gonna go work in what was it, NCIS? I don't know what. He's in a fucking crime drama.
They were always on crime dramas. I don't even.
I know, right? I mean, shit, dude. Fucking, they must pay really well. They go forever like that. No, but yeah, it is interesting that they actually give that dynamic of him, where it's just like, oh, well, my job is now done, and now I have something that I actually want to do. And I like that little exchange again with him and Doggie Cruger at the end. I'm not going to be able to say that name with a straight face. Him and Doggie Cruger at the end, where Doggie's just like, you know, I get it. You like SPD. You're putting your all into it because, you know, you're not a half-asser. But obviously you want to do something else. And I like that they don't just leave it of, oh, I like that they don't leave it like, oh, he can do both things. No, he literally chooses like, all right, fuck
I
this.
bet. See ya.
Bet. I'm out. Whatever. And I like that about him because it kind of shows that, he's not a. I mean, he looks like a slacker, but he's not a slacker. His heart's in the right place, and I like that. I liked him overall as a Red. He's really good.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot. And I guess from that, we go to Sky, who is just angry for 90% of for the show, basically.
When he's not being angry, he's just kind of being a douche, and like not even like he's not even mean. He's just kind of like a dick to everybody. And again,
and he kind of has to learn the same lesson like 5 fucking times.
Again, it feels like they're doing what they did with Hoji, where he's kind of like, he's the ace of the team. He was the cool one before Bond showed up, and he was the one everybody looked up to. And here's this fuckhead idiot slacker showing up, taking his spotlight. I was supposed to be the man in charge. I was supposed to be the Red Ranger, and here's this dickhead stealing my glory. And that's kind of his whole motivation, is that like, I should be in charge, and I kind of fucking hate everything. It's like he's that douche who's like, I deserve better than what I have, even though I haven't earned it, and I'm going to make everybody know that every single moment I get a chance to.
Yeah, and again, it's really weird because, excuse me, there's plenty of times in this show where he learns the lesson of, okay, maybe I shouldn't be a dick, maybe I should be kind of humble and whatever. And then like 3 or 5 episodes later, he's in the same hobble, and I'm just like, do you just like have short-term memory loss? And to be fair, that's kind of a problem with a lot of these episodes where it does feel like they're just recycling the message again, where it's just like, do you guys just like not know what to do with these people? Like, is there no plot to go with right now? and sadly, Sky has a lot of, he has a lot of that bit of, like, he has a lot of that bit in him, which is, again, like, it feels like they have short-term memory loss with this character, where he'll learn, like, oh, Jack, you may be a slacker and a homeless person, but you're a good guy, or, Bridge, you're retarded, but you're a good person. Pink, you have no personality, but I like you. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
Yellow,
Oh, I forgot Yellow.
Yeah,
I forgot she existed.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like they try to do what they did in the Sentai, but then when they start making changes to it, the changes don't really work with what they've established and what they still stick with, and it kind of comes off rather lazy, and it raises more questions than it needs to.
Oh, fucking undoubtedly it does.
Ugh.
There's so many questions I had in this show where I was just like, am I just overthinking this, or is the show just not addressing any of it?
Yes.
And it's kind of weird.
Definitely it's a mix of both.
Well, I mean, like for one, like his whole thing with his dad. I'm not even going to get into the fact that apparently Time Red is now a fucking SPD. So, whatever, dude. I'm not even getting into... And the thing is, like, it's not even like with A Squad where, they're reusing stuff, but it's obviously supposed to be something different. No, it's literally using Time Red's fucking suit. It's the whole fucking suit.
It is
It's like, what?
Literally, yeah, they literally take the Time Red suit, slap an SPD badge on there, bam, he's an SPD Ranger.
I wouldn't be surprised if it really was one of those sticky badges you get from a Dollar Tree.
I mean, it was basically the same sticky badges they had on the codes, so I wouldn't be surprised. And, like, again, I kind of like the thing about his dad. It's like, oh, his dad was a Ranger, and then his dad died when he was young, and he inspired him to be a Ranger, but he wanted to be red like his dad, and, that's kind of his whole thing, is like, I'm kind of a dick now because I didn't get what I want, boo-hoo, because my dad's dead. But they don't really do anything with his relationship with his dad until, like, way later in the show, and then when they start focusing on it, they pretty much immediately resolve it.
Yeah, that was... So actually, that's 2 things that I want to bring up. So, one, he does. I'm sorry if anybody out there doesn't agree with this, but like Sky does kind of have a point to be a bit pissed off. Like if it was Bridge or God forbid Cindy being the Red Ranger, I can kind of.
It's not even her name.
Whatever the fuck her name is, Pink woman. Like if they became Red and Sky was still mad, I would still be able to see the reasoning behind it because they're still trained just as hard as he did. But you kind of, again, you see a homeless person literally come in and become the CEO of your company, you're gonna get kind of like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. I mean,
I've been training this whole time to be the head honcho, and this fucker just comes off the street. I'm like, what?
And like, I get the idea they try to go for, where it's like, just because you have the prestige, just because you have the legacy behind it, doesn't mean you deserve something inherently over somebody else. And that's kind of his arc, sort of. But again, like you were saying there, he forgets it every other fucking episode. Like he'll learn a lesson about like, oh, here's an alien who's not actually a criminal but is running around attacking things because the criminal is screwing with him. Oh, maybe we shouldn't immediately judge all of the aliens as evil. Oh, wait, what's that? There's a cyborg? Fucking killer, she's evil.
Fucking cybies!
Fucking bolties. I don't know, I couldn't think of anything funny.
Fucking wireheads! Fucking racist-ass motherfucker. And like, he basically calls her any type of superlative you could think of for robot. Like, he
literally just calls her it like 3 times.
Oh, like, he does. Like when they did that, I was just like, Jesus, like, dude, you're a fucking
It's
asshole.
Been disposed of, and he's got this big shit-eating grin on his face. Like, dude, you're a psycho. You're a cop.
He kind of is.
Wait, granted,
kind of is a dick.
Granted, that is entirely in behavior for cops. So,
see, the thing is, like, he has this weird. And I'm shocked. I am shocked they didn't do this with him in this show. Though, I guess I can see why. But I'm shocked they never did, like, the whole... He kind of turns on the Rangers because he's just that fucking mad. Because he kind of comes off as one of those guys who would be like... He would have, like, a heel turn. Like, a 2-episode heel turn. Somewhere in the series. And they never did that. And I'm just like... You're a prime example for someone who should be doing that because you're a fucking dick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But they just kind of never did because, well, the Sentai never did it. So, we're too lazy to do anything original.
Which, to be fair, and I'll say this, the whole, they do sort of explain why Jack was chosen, but it's the most pants-on-head retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Where it's just like, all of your parents just so happen to work for us at the exact same time.
All of your parents,
so much time around it.
All of your parents just so happened to be scientists in the exact same specification at the exact same time in the exact same city and the exact same SPD branch in the exact same lab, all working on the exact same project, which all conveniently happened to mutate them all and give you all superpowers. What the fuck were they smoking?
I am going to assume that was not in the Sentai.
Well, of course not, because the idea of giving them powers outside of their Ranger forms is a retarded idea that I don't... Technically speaking, that was Disney's idea, so I'm not going to blame Saban for this time. This time, at the very least, he was smart and stopped doing that shit because it was lame. But at the very least, it was still a thing that they did for a while.
It just again to bring it back to Sky again. I like the idea that they had with him, but again, as I said before, it just seems that they keep forgetting. Either they keep forgetting or they just think, oh, kids didn't watch the last episode, so we got to do it again. And it just kind of gets tiresome. It's like, dude, I get it. You've learned your lesson. You've gotten your ass kicked multiple times.
Times, at least once an episode.
You were able to become the Red Ranger, which I have a serious problem when they did that. Because, okay, I get it. It's supposed to be poetic irony. He kills the guy, or he arrests the guy who killed his dad, and he's the Red Ranger while he's doing it. But it's like, that kind of takes away from the ending when he becomes a Red Ranger again. It's like, well, we've already seen him do it. Who fucking
See,
cares?
like, that's the thing is that, one, that raises too many questions, because if he could just pass on the Morpher and become a different Ranger, what the fuck is stopping literally anybody else from just stealing them and becoming an SPD Ranger? What the fuck is stopping them from just immediately swapping the first chance they get? Like, there is no real, like, reason for it. The only reason they did it is because they wanted to show off the fucking Battleizer, which is ugly, and they had, like, they already set up, like, well, only Red can use it. So we need to contrive an excuse for him to become Red for one episode, and then he becomes Red for reals anyways.
But, so honestly, like, the whole idea of the fact that they can just swap colors and shit, because I mean, shit, at the end of the series, fucking Sky is red and Bridge is blue now for no fucking reason.
And then Bridge became red in Operation Overdrive.
Because fuck you.
Fuck you, of course.
Oh yeah, let's give the Red Ranger to Bridge. Sure. I love the guy, but he's fucking sniffing glue and eating crayons in the corner, for fuck's sake. Okay? It's too much. But like, again, I do see what you're saying over, like, yeah, what's to say, I don't know, what's to say Boom literally doesn't just take the Red Ranger morpher and does it himself?
Exactly. Like, there's an entire episode about him pretending to be a Ranger. What was literally stopping him from just stealing one of theirs and pretending to be a Ranger? Well, other than the fact that there's no corresponding footage of a Ranger being a fucking idiot for no reason, so they couldn't just immediately do that.
The only thing I could think of, and I'm only saying this because the idea popped in my head from RPM, was they're, like, voice locked to the Rangers, but even then it's like, well, obviously they're not voice locked to their colors. They're just voice locked to whoever's on the fucking B team.
Yeah, that them specifically, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It's not, it does raise a lot of questions to the point where I'm just like, yeah, why didn't they just, like, do the whole thing where they did with what was it in Space, where they all just became blue?
Yeah,
what's to stop them?
What's stopping them from all just being blue? Like, exactly. How do they just not do that? Why can't they just make more? Why is there an issue of having, like, 5 Rangers? Because there's clearly way more than them. You can just fucking make more of them. Oh yeah, we got an alien invasion coming up, but we only have the 5 Rangers. Fucking make more. You assholes can make more. It's not that hard.
Obviously, they do on a fucking whim. They do it on a whim multiple times.
They do, in fact, do it on a whim multiple times.
Fucking Cat just comes in and she's just like, oh, I have one now too. Don't ask me where I got it. I just made it. From what? Your fucking ass? Like, what?
I mean, she would literally, like, her fucking boss is like, here's a morpher, go kick some ass because there's an episode of your counterpart kicking ass. Don't ask questions.
Right?
No, you'll never be able to use it again. No, we'll never contrive a reason for you never be able to use it again. Fucking, okay, sure, whatever.
When you really think about it, like, when you really think about just the way that works, it's just, it comes off as like, all right, so what's to say I can't just be like, all right, hey, you from fucking F Squad. I'm assuming that exists. From F Squad. Here's Green. Fucking Bridge broke his leg. Here's the Green Ranger morpher. Fucking go at it.
Yeah,
like, what's to stop me from doing that?
I have no idea, and I don't.
Honestly,
think
dude, I was. If it wasn't for the Sentai footage, I have expected there to be an episode where, like, F Squad or Z Squad stole the morphers and fucked around as Rangers for a couple of episodes, and they were like just shit at it. Of course, there's no footage of that happening, I'm assuming, but that would be great.
No, it would be a fun little episode to do if they, weren't too lazy to make original footage.
Well, no, but I mean, this is Disney.
Anyways, what else is there to say about Bridge besides he's an idiot?
Well, we didn't. Well, we moved on to Bridge. I'm assuming we're talking about Sky.
What else is there to talk about Sky? I think we were finished with Sky. Yeah.
Yeah, his last name is Tate, and that's just funny to me.
Yeah. Apparently, I fucking IMDb because it says his name is Shyler. What the fuck? Like, I would have killed myself if my name was Shyler, by the way.
What?
Yeah, I looked it up to remember somebody else's name, but apparently his name is fucking Shyler. I don't know who the fuck named him that. I don't fucking... Like,
Wait, the actor himself
the character? The character's name.
His name is Shyler?
Yes, apparently.
Where did they get Sky from?
I don't fucking know.
What
I don't know if
fucking orifice did they pull that from?
I don't know if this is some, like, future shit where it's supposed to be Skylar, but they spelt it weird because they're assholes. I don't Man, fucking future names, right? Future names and spacer names. Always are bullshit.
It's like spelling Jeff with Geo.
Yeah, exactly.
No offense to anybody who has that name, but fucking change it, mate. So, Bridge. You know what? I like Bridge. He's a stupid fucking idiot, but I liked him. It's the most I can say.
Bridge is weird where when I remember watching this when I was younger and when it was still on TV, which was like, I think I was like 11 or whatever. And I remember not liking Bridge because he was annoying and obnoxious and not funny. And then I remembered that going into this after watching Operation Overdrive, and he was obnoxious and annoying and unfunny. But he's actually really kind of funny in this show. He's actually really entertaining. I mean, he's obnoxious, of course, but he's weirdly endearing.
Yeah.
Also, they keep giving him new powers for no real reason. Like, again, we brought up how they have powers because that was the thing that Disney was doing. It's like, oh, they need to have superpowers outside of their costumes, which was a dumb idea. So Jack has fucking no-clip powers. Sky has an energy shield that he uses exactly like 3 times in the entire show. And then
they can't make an excuse of why he can't use it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, it costs too much, I guess. They give Bridge this weird, like, he can see people's, like, auras or some shit, and that shows how they feel or, you know, whether they're good or bad. But then also he can use it to, like, track people's movements and, like, see the past, and then they just fucking give him psychic powers, and just he's able to read minds now for whatever reason, because why not? He's all over the place.
He goes from Moody Blues to fucking Killer Queen in a fucking second, dude. It's weird because, like, it's like you said, like, he starts off with just that weird aura shit where, like, he can tell where somebody is or where they've been. It's like, all right, cool, that's fine. And then it slowly starts becoming basically clairvoyance. And it's just like, how does that work? How does you go from, I know where this guy was, to I can see, like,
I am a human mood ring to literal psychic fucking powers. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if I remember correctly, and I'm just saying this because I remember it, not because I actually not to impact this review, but if I remember correctly, I think in the comics they gave him full on, like, future sight, like, full on. I can literally just tell the future by looking at you. It's dumb.
I don't remember because the Boom comics are shit.
They are.
They probably did, because that sounds like something they did. I mean, then again, they fucking made Tommy's son the new Green Ranger in the comics, which was
I'm sorry, what?
You were the one who fucking brought that up to me. Yeah, in one
Wait, did I?
Yes, you fucking mentioned it when we were
Dude, I don't remember that.
Great, that was a month ago because we've all been busy and haven't been able to watch the show, and by we I mean you. Yeah, they did a comic which was basically just Old Man Logan, but with Tommy Oliver, which was about as good as you expect.
Oh, that sounds awful.
And Bridges' replacement as the Green Ranger is Tommy's son, and then they give him the fucking dragon shield, and it looks about what you would expect the dragon shield on the SPD suit looks like.
You know what? You said that, and all I could see was, like, have you ever like peeped the Sentai wiki when they have, like, oh, this is what the Green Ranger looks like, and they're in that weird awkward standing pose?
Yeah.
I just imagine that.
Oh yeah, the Danganronpa pose. Yeah.
Yeah, I just imagine that with the dragon shield badly slapped on it, like it popped into my head.
I mean, listen,
you said
that's about half of the Ranger OC photoshops I see. They all look like shit. So yeah, they did that. That comic is fucking awful. I think they made fucking Scorpina the final boss of the comic for some reason, which I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
I was gonna ask, like, who's the Hulk and She-Hulk relationship in this one?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I think
it's fucking Tommy and his brother. Oh no, wait, he's dead.
Yeah, his brother. That's right. His brother died.
Shit.
He turned into a bird, man. Yeah.
Wait, are there any relatives? Oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. They're both dudes.
I mean, that wouldn't stop them.
Well, fine. Fucking the Siddhartha brothers. They're the ones who have a gaggle of inbred children. Oh, that'd be terrifying. So yeah, that's Bridge. He's a bad version of Old Man Logan.
Bridge is the best character on the show out of the main five, which kind of says a lot, to be entirely honest. Even though, again, he's basically just Sen, but lazier. But at the same time, like, it's hard to get any lazier than Sen already was, which is why Bridge is just so good, is because he's the closest to the Sentai counterpart, so that means he's the closest to something that's quality.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just, for some reason, like, the moment he started talking, I mean, to be fair, dude, I kind of had, like, a moment, like, where I thought this guy would have been my Dax, where I was just like, oh, I want to fucking hate this guy so much. And by the end of the show, I was just like, fuck you, Sky. Make this guy the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
This guy's good.
I mean, hey, he took your words to advice because he did, in fact, make him the Red Ranger.
only a couple of years later, he bitched out of the position he was bitching to get into. Fuck you, dude. You spent the entire show wanting this fucking position, only to be like, whatever, bro, you can have it. It's all good.
I don't know. The comics gave him a shitty new Decamaster copy. That's right. They actually fucking called him Decamaster in the comic.
They did.
I fucking hate the Power Rangers comics so much. They're so bad.
But don't worry, Jay. Don't forget. Phil loves that suit.
Ugh.
He loves that suit.
Ugh.
That's why I don't take fashion advice from Phil.
It's so weird how much better Kyle Higgins is writing a better Tokusatsu comic, writing Ultraman. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I know, right? It's almost like if you actually have someone who's talented.
I mean, AJ, he's the guy who was doing the Power Rangers comics, and now he's doing Ultraman, and his writing's actually good. What a shock!
You know what? Morphine's a hell of a drug, dude. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
It is.
Next we have Z, and then we have Pink.
Z,
dude, Z is basically the Rose of this episode. Because, fucking, what is there to say about her?
She's got, like, they gave her fucking duplication powers, which ranges anywhere from we have one stunt double who we have shot from the back. And then sometimes they do, like, the camera whip pan to hide the fact that there's only one of them to make it look like there's more than one of her. Which
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I half expected at times the camera would flub and you actually see the actors running into place.
I mean, you know what? That'd be kind of funny. That would be funny. You know, her power is actually super speed. She's just really fast. It makes it look like she has copy.
Could you imagine that? The whole show is just like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, I lied. I'm actually just a fucking speedster.
Oh, fuck. That'd be great. No, that'd be great.
That would be actually pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, so Z and I had to fucking look up her name because she's that memorable. Sid. They are the most boring characters. They are the girls. You have the tomboy girl, and then you have the girl. That is their character. If you have ever seen a single Power Rangers show, you already know what their characters are like. That is all.
It's really disappointing too because, like, I kind of expected them to do a bit more, especially because Sid is fucking overpowered when you think about it.
Yeah,
she literally can just absorb anything.
Yeah, she's fucking fuck. What was his name? There's
Kevin Levin from Ben 10.
No, not who I was thinking of.
Absorb Man. There's a lot of them like this, dude.
There was some. Can't remember. I was gonna say Metamorpho, but that's not right. It's kind of. I mean, kind of his power. Maybe, whatever. Anyway, she has like the most OP power where she's like, oh, I can absorb elements and turn my skin into that. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, wait, you can't do that because it costs too much money? Cool. All right. Fuck you.
It's not even just that. It's the fact that she only stops at her fist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you stop at just your fist?
Let me just make like a fourth of my body indestructible. That is a genius superpower. that's like C grade X-Men tier power.
Dude, just take a fucking look at her. You think she has any fucking brains in that head?
No.
No. Let's be honest with yourself. Like, she comes. Honestly, dude, I'm surprised that she was not the idiot of the team because she looks like she's a fucking idiot.
It's funny because like Umiko in the Sentai is the team idiot. That is her role. She's the idiot one, which is weird because it's not that weird. It makes more sense in Japan, but like they don't really do that with her. She's just the girl. She's not even like entertainingly like, oh haha, I am like ridiculous girly girl, but here I am like I'm a space cop. They don't even do anything with it. She's just bland. She is just like the rich girl stereotype that they don't do anything with outside of like 2 episodes.
It's not only just that, it's the fact that like you expect, oh, she's a rich girl stereotype. Well, I honestly, for me, I was expecting some shit where it's just like, oh, her parents are gonna come in and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're bankrolling SPD and we don't like what you're doing with our daughter, so we're gonna not bankroll you anymore.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, we want you to make our daughter in charge because we're the ones funding the operation, and then there's the episode where they have to deal with that, and it's like, I'm not actually cut out for leader or anything like that, but no, that would make sense because that would be interesting.
It's so weird because like she honestly has like that cliched character, but they don't do anything with the cliched character, and it's just like, oh, did I miss a few? Did I miss something here? Like, there should be something more here.
Like, the most we get is, like, we get one episode where it's like, oh, but tomorrow's my birthday. I don't want to go do, like, superhero shit.
That so stupid.
It's like, okay, well, tomorrow's your birthday, jackass, so you can do superhero shit today, you fucking rich bitch.
I'm rich. I am rich. I demand it to be whenever I say. Like, I just love it too because like she's complaining about her birthday to the fucking dude who's never had a birthday. And
Jack is just like,
really
I don't
awkward.
even fucking know when I'm born. All right, you are complaining. You are barking up the wrong tree, babe.
I know, dude. It's like, she just kind of came up like a dick. After her or hers, both of them. I guess we talk about the big dog, Doggie Cruger.
The big dog.
The big dog. Fucking doggy.
Kruger as well is the best character in the show because he was the best character in the show in Deca Ranger. I still hate his American costume.
It's garbage.
He doesn't even look like a dog. He looks like a giant fucking lizard man. Why did they give him why the fuck did they give him hair? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Why is his head so fucking big? It's
like, again, it's the fact I could kind of forgive all of that if they just kind of kept the furry look, because
exactly, like,
weird.
I don't necessarily mind them redoing the helmet, even though it doesn't make any sense for them to do so. Like, I get it, Japanese Kruger is kind of goofy. He's a little cartoony, and that doesn't really like translate well. I get it. But that's why I like him, is because he's, like, goofy and cartoony, and here he is doing sick samurai shit and doing, like, flips and crap. That's what makes it entertaining. And then they redo it, and it's just not as good. Like, I mean, sure, the effects are definitely better. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Doggie Crugers' mouth didn't move for, like, the first 10 episodes in Deca Ranger. But it's, like, it's still, like, it's kind of gross. Like, I kind of hate looking at it half the time. It's basically the only reason why I didn't buy the Lightning Collection figures, because it comes with the head, and I don't want to have to look at the head.
Just melt it.
I mean, I could do that.
But like, again, it goes back to the point of, it's not even just Doggie Kruger. A lot of the fucking people in this show that are supposed to be animals don't look like fucking animals.
That's kind
like
of
the fucking birdie dude. Dude, I'm sorry. He looks like he just has a bunch of tumors.
I don't like. I went like again. I've kind of ragged on this a lot before, but I'm going to kind of get into it like in full force. The biggest problem with this show is that they spent so much money on all of these new alien costumes for characters who aren't important. Like, for what fucking reason do we need to spend all this money on these animatronics and the makeup for the commander guy who is in 2 fucking episodes when we could have just used the suit from the Sentai, which looked perfectly fine in Alien and was really cool looking, for no good reason? And it's not like they didn't have it, because they fucking used the costume in the finale as a fucking background mook, which they did with a bunch of other characters too. You get you get cats like assistants who look like, I don't even want to say they look like Star Trek cat people, because that's insulting to Star Trek. That's insulting to like fucking Voyager level special effects. It's Voyager, guys. Come on. But they just they look bad. Like the only one who looks like at all remotely pleasing out of the original suits is Piggy, and that's because they're actually trying to do something with him. He's not just like a big fucking animal creature thing. Like a lot of the background aliens, a lot of them look really lazy. A lot of them, one of them is straight up just like a Spirit Halloween gray A. Lamau mask, and it is hilarious every time they use it, because they always have it way too big for the actor's head.
I mean, shit, dude. They just straight up took one of the crow people from the movie.
Yeah, that's right. They did. He's
just there.
A lot of the background aliens are just reused suits they had lying around, and they look much better because, again, these were much nicer suits made with an actual budget, and here they are, just kind of mingling. And I like when they do that most of the time. Ninja Steel kind of shit the bed on it when they had fucking King Mondo in a crowd scene for no good reason, which fucking raises more fucking questions than it needs to, guys. Let's be honest. But then you see their original costumes next to you've got a monster from the Sentai, or you've got a fucking mook from 3 seasons ago, and it's just so fucking ugly, and it does not fit at all. It doesn't.
It's
I get
jarring.
I get that they're trying to go for a more serious kind of tone with the sci-fi and everything, but it's jarring, and it doesn't I would be less annoyed if they had a goofy Catman costume, and here he is trying to be serious and this gritty kind of sci-fi aesthetic, but no, it makes it worse when you try to make it quote unquote realistic aliens. It's just weird, and it's a waste of money. A waste of money that allegedly they didn't have a whole lot of, but they could fucking blow money on so much other dumb shit, which I don't fucking know what they were thinking.
But again, it's a thing of what was the problem? And again, I've seen the original Doggie Cruger suit from fucking Deca Ranger. I've seen it. What was the problem with that? I mean, it still looks alien. Who's to say aliens don't have a bunch of fur, you know?
Yeah, he's got
the
the
fucking
weird
monkey still had his fur.
Yeah. Fucking
So, what's the excuse?
I really have no idea. It is the most baffling decision that they could have done. I get it for Piggy, because he was a character who doesn't really exist in this. There's no character like him in the Sentai. There is no weird alien informant who's kind of crooked, but he's too much of a coward to actually be a criminal, so he kind of helps the cops out. But I get needing to make a new suit for him, but why is he so much better than every other original costume? It is very strange.
I mean, shit, dude. I mean, even for all the effort they put into Doggy, his mouth barely fucking works.
Oh my god, no, yeah.
It wasn't until I think, what was it? I think episode 20, 22 or something like that, where it actually starts opening wide like it should be.
Yeah, and it's they actually have the animatronics fully working, which again is them copying the Sentai but lazier. Heyo.
That's so weird. How do you copy a fuck up?
How do you copy the fuck ups intentionally? It's weird.
It's a reference, Jay. You just don't understand the Sentai.
Oh, fuck you. I don't fucking say that about Deca Ranger. I fucking understand Deca Ranger. You piece of shit fucking
To be fair,
fanboy.
Jay, you kind of have to have a high IQ to understand Deca Ranger.
I do. I have the biggest IQ. Okay.
Funniest shit I've ever seen. Dude, I should just Photoshop Bridge into a pickle. There you go. Pickle Bridge.
Oh, you should do it. You should do it.
That's gonna be the thumbnail.
Dude.
Oh shit.
Anyways,
then we.
So
Let's actually talk about his
actually
character.
talk about Doggie Cruger.
Wait, hold on. One question of the aesthetics before we go on.
Mm-hmm.
In the Sentai, does he have the dreadlocks?
No, he does not.
Okay, then what the fuck?
I don't know what they were thinking with the dreadlocks. I meant
especially on his wife. She looks like a fucking mop.
Like, that's the fucking thing. I was like, I remembered his wife having them, but like, I wasn't sure if I was like losing my mind and thought he had dreadlocks too. So I was like, I didn't say anything because like, even though I just watched the show, I forgot that. Like, yeah, what the fuck was with the dreadlocks? Why?
I don't know. It's like, so do you want him to have hair or not? What the fuck?
Like,
it's so weird.
It's weird. Anyways, he's more or less just Kruger from the Sentai, and he's probably the best well copied. He's a little more serious than Japanese Kruger because Deca Ranger overall is a little less serious, and everybody's just kind of a little bit more goofy. But even then, he's still like, listen, you shitheads, I am your boss, listen to me, get off your ass and fight the fucking aliens already. You know, he's the one doling out like the weird like samurai words of wisdom. He's the one who's like, he's kind of like, again, he's the mentor figure. He's the one who kind of leads the Rangers on to the epiphany of the week and, you know, stuff like that. And it's really interesting. And I like, again, a lot of it is just copied from the Sentai. They start mixing it up where it's like, instead of just being like a really badass cop, he's like, he was a freedom fighter and he helped found the SPD, even though he's like a fucking nobody in the ranks. And like, oh, his wife,
I know, right?
His wife died, and you know, he stopped the emperor from doing this and that, but he failed. And like, what are they talking about? What is this backstory? It's like, why can't he just be like, he was an ace cop who worked his way up the ranks, and now he's semi-retired, and it's like, why this weirdly like grimdark backstory for him? It's kind of weird. It's not bad or anything. That's just kind of the sentiment of the show overall, is that once they start doing like original stuff while also just copying from the Sentai, the original stuff is just, well, overall not very good, but it's just kind of baffling because it doesn't really mix with what they've already done. Like,
no, it doesn't.
And that's kind of the show overall. It's like, why is this show, which is about like fucking space cops, why is there a plot line about an evil emperor and his magic child woman sidekick who makes monsters with a fucking art pad? Why are they trying to invade the Earth? Why do we need this in our fucking cop drama show?
See,
anyways.
like, I can kind of just chalk it up to that's a Power Ranger thing, because for some reason Power Rangers always needs to have that. But at the same time, like, why couldn't it have just been like an on-Earth thing where it's just like a seedy underworld type of thing? You know, they're trying to stop the fucking Pickle Mafia. I don't fucking know.
Why not just do what, like, I don't know, Time Ranger or Time Force did? Make Grum like a crime lord. He's the big bad crime boss of Earth, and they have to take him down. And, you know, again, that has an issue with Broodwing as well, where that kind of edges him out regardless. But, anyways.
Well, see, even then, because like you could still have Broodwing as, I mean, technically he is still the Starscream in this show. But, I mean, you could still have him like that.
Broodwing is. We'll get to him because I have things to say about him.
Oh boy.
But Kruger overall is the best done character, mostly by virtue of just still being Doggie Cruger. It gets a little weird because, again, they add the whole plot line about, oh, my wife is dead. Oh, maybe she's not, whatever. But then, like, they still copy the weird sexual tension with Kat from the Sentai. But then again, they don't really do it too much. I remember there being way more than there was, and like, there kind of is, like, it's mostly just like one-sided because Kat kind of idolizes her. Yeah, well, I mean, she does think highly of herself, but just kind of idolizes Kruger, and they kind of have a thing together, but like it's not like outright explicit like oh, they are in love with each other like in the Sentai, which it was weird because I remember that's how it being, but I that's one of those kind of weird like because again, like I remember when I was younger, that's what I thought it was when I watched the show, and then when I watched Deca Ranger when I was older, and then I'm rewatching the show after I've seen it, I'm like, oh wait, no, they didn't actually do that, did they? I mean, there's a little bit, there's a little bit with them, but it's not as like blatant as a lot of people seem to remember it being.
No, honestly, there's a lot about this show that I remember that isn't actually there. Like, I remember the whole thing about Sky's father being a much bigger deal when I was a kid. A much bigger deal.
Yeah, I remember that being a bigger deal too. But here it's like they introduce it like haphazardly, where he's looking at a photo, like a framed photo of his dead dad in his bed, like Wolverine looking at Jean Grey, which of course I made a meme out of, and I replaced the photo with a picture of a cat eating spaghetti because that was the first thing I thought of. I you know what? I never posted that template anywhere. I should have. But yeah, there's a lot of plot lines that I remember being like more important. Like they kind of build up like, oh, what's this big bad thing that Grum's always talking to, and like they never like it's never any significant. And when they do finally reveal it, it's like it's basically just dumped on your fucking lap, and like, oh, okay, I guess he was just working for a big fucking alien brain monster this whole time, whatever.
Which kind of undermines him completely.
Yes, it does, and that's an issue that a lot of shows in Sentai suffer from, not just this show. Other than
or shit, the other thing about I guess before we get to the next fucking Morgana. The whole thing with her, I didn't really understand it at all.
What were they doing? Like, okay, so he has a little girl sidekick who can make magic monsters with a notepad because whatever. Why does he need her? Like, where did she come from? What the fuck is her deal? Why is this 30-year-old woman pretending to be like an 8-year-old? Like, why does she get really upset when she's not an 8-year-old anymore? That's kind of creepy. Like it's a little creepy, right? Like that she's this like mid-30s woman who wants to be like a literal child. And, like why does Grum reverse the transformation and make her like an adult again, and then just put her back again for no real reason?
See, because the way she explained it, she was always an adult, and then she became a kid because that's what she wanted.
No. I understood that part where like she was an adult and Grum turned her into a child in order to make her work for him rather. And then when she failed, and by she I mean her monsters failed because this is a Power Rangers show and they always do. He made her an adult again, and then for no real reason he made her a child again, and I don't know what they were like. I don't know what the point of this was. I don't even
get why becoming an adult was such a bad thing to her.
We know literally nothing about her as a character. She's just there. Like that's an issue a lot of shows have. Like most Power Rangers shows don't really flesh out the side villains. Like you'll get the big bad's backstory, and then fuck off for any other villains. You know, oh, you want to learn what fucking what was his fucking name? The big ninja robot dude from Ninja Storm. Like, you want to learn what his deal is? Fuck you. Exactly. That's exactly the problem this show kind of falls.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it just comes off as weird because and that's the thing. Like, they give her so much fucking screen time too, where it's just like they're making it seem like, oh, her becoming an adult is such a bad fucking thing, and I'm just like, but why? Why is that a bad
superfluous
thing?
As a character because her making the criminals of the week is unnecessary because we already have a show where they're just hiring random criminals of the week, or there's criminals who aren't even fucking connected to Grum or Broodwing or anybody, just committing crimes, and that's what the fucking plot is. Because that's how it was in Deca Ranger, and we just need to copy that, and we can't even work in one scene of Grum hiring some guy or whatever. So having her be like, I'm a literal like magic monster maker, like she's like Finster, but as the little girl, which terrifies me as a thought of him as a little girl, by the way. It's just unnecessary. You don't need that as a concept. Like, it'd be one thing if, like, oh, she's the one who's, like, designing, like, the big robots, or she's the one who, like, she's, like, making his plans, like, a general or whatever. Like, she's just, like, a weird little girl. She has, like, magic power, like, literal magic powers, rather than she can just kind of, like, draw shit and make it real. Like, if they did anything with the concept, like, it'd be fine, but, like, having her be the monster maker is unnecessary because the show ignores her ability as the monster maker for more than half of the episodes.
Well, yeah, and like you said earlier, there are plenty of episodes where the monsters are just random criminals, and that comes back to the idea
they just fucking go to a back alley and hire some guy, and that's the villain of the week. We don't need to have a character who creates monsters because we already have a concept of making monsters. It's called going and fucking hiring them.
And that kind of goes back to the idea that you have, where it's like the seedy underworld type thing, where it's like, yeah, what if a mobster just like says like, I want to take out the SPDs, go get the gabagool or whatever the fuck. They just get some random guy off the street. That makes sense.
Exactly. But no, we need to have the character who makes the monsters because it's a Power Rangers show, and that's how they do it, for some reason.
Wasn't there a show that I don't remember if it was a Sentai or a Ranger show where they really did just hire a bunch of people?
I mean, the closest I can think to is Time Force, but even then, that wasn't them hiring. They were pulling other criminals who were already affiliated with the main villain out of storage, and that's where they were coming from. That's the closest I can think of off the top of my head, at least.
Honestly, we should just try to do that.
I mean,
that made more sense.
Well, there was kind of In Space and Lost Galaxy, but a lot of that came from their respective Sentais. So, well, okay, more so Ginga Man, but they kind of did that as well. But that was like, we have fucking everybody running around as a villain. It's, it's going to be necessary at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, besides her being completely undermined, Grum is Grum.
Again, I remember Grum being a bigger deal when I was a kid, but he's barely relevant. Like, what the fuck exactly was his end goal other than conquering Earth? Well, I mean, I guess that's his end goal, but a lot of his plans just kind of like, they don't really need to happen. Like, early on, it was like, okay, we need to get to Earth so we can invade Earth. But you can fucking send your monsters there to Earth, and you can just teleport your ass down with your shitty motorcycle at any goddamn time. Why do we need to bother traveling to Earth?
And see,
can your fucking brain monster boss not fucking teleport? Is he too fucking special to teleport? I get like,
and see, that's what I was gonna say as well. Like, they introduced Grum as not only a big bad, not only the guy who basically beat the shit out of Doggie Cruger and killed his wife, but also
allegedly
this guy who's allegedly, of course, and but also this guy who has taken over and in the first episode destroys planets.
He's the dude is evil with a capital evil, and he is the biggest, baddest dude in the galaxy right now.
Yeah, and then they just kind of undermine him at the end by saying, well, he's not really the biggest bad.
Because he was working for fucking Mother Brain the entire time.
But even that doesn't make sense, because then why make him seem like he's the biggest bad by having him literally be the catalyst for so much of this shit? Killing fucking, again, allegedly killing Kruger's family, destroying planets, taking over a bunch of shit, being touted as the biggest criminal in the galaxy, and then fucking, like you said, Mother Brain comes out and she's like, oh, I guess we just suddenly know about them now too.
It's like they fucking show. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, they fucking know his name off the fucking top of their head when they've never heard his name before. Like, what the hell? Anyways, that's kind of that's a problem that a lot of shows, more so Power Rangers than Sentai, but Sentai does it a lot too, where you'll have your main villains, and then right at the end of the show, there's another bigger, badder villain who has just been there the entire time, but we didn't foreshadow them at all because we didn't think about it. And fuck you if you get any kind of explanation of where they came from. That's it. Like, the closest, like, off the top of my head, fucking Power Ranger did that with the Master Org. And they did that with Wild Force as well, where it's like, oh, Master Org is not actually a guy. He's just some jackass in a costume. But that's like, oh, actually, never mind. There was a real one the whole time, and he's a big, ugly CG monster. Fuck you. And that's always what it is, of course. It's just an excuse for a big, ugly CG monster so they can have one final mech fight. Fucking Magi Ranger did that, and Mystic Force did it as well with fucking Cthulhu. What other show did that? Like
This one?
This one did that, of course. Deca Ranger didn't do that because Grum and his fucking support team didn't exist. Well, okay, Broodwing existed, but we'll talk about him once we're done complaining about Grum. It just, again...
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a main villain, Grum just kind of comes off as... He should be the biggest, baddest guy in the world, and it's literally like... Again, it's literally like... I mean, shit, when we did Kira Major, where, you know, it's set up to be Garza's the biggest, baddest dude in the room, and then they kind of summon up fucking Satan. But again, at least it was at least a little bit more foreshadowed than fucking... Whatever what was his name? Omni?
Again, yeah, well, Omni or the Magnificence or whatever the fuck they wanted to call him that episode. Yeah, like, at the very least, like, when you bring up Kira Major, at the very least, fucking Emperor Yodon was foreshadowed from the beginning of the show. It's not like they just immediately introduce him halfway through the show, no foreshadowing, and then suddenly, oh, he's a giant brain monster. Like, they have Grum, like, talking to him, but it just makes Grum seem like he's, like, a weird schizo, or he's being mind-controlled, or he's delusional or something. He's just crazy. But no, he was talking to a giant fucking brain in a jar the entire time. Whatever.
And it just comes off as...
It deflates his threat level, like you said, where having him be the bitch to some ugly CG brain monster just makes this guy less threatening, because it's like, okay, well, the guy who's blowing up planets and robbing them blind and murdering people across the galaxy he's just some guy's bitch. Like, okay, whatever. He's the real final boss. Okay, whatever.
Exactly. No, it's exactly what... And the thing is, that's exactly what it sounds like. And it's exactly how it's played off in the show, because, again, I said this earlier, he literally destroys a planet at the beginning of the episode, at the beginning of the series, and they're touting him as the guy. The guy.
And then the rest of the show,
and then suddenly, yeah.
The rest of the show, he's, like, the first half of the show, he's just fucking Lord Zed. He's late season Lord Zed, where Zed is just kind of a fucking buffoon who's like, oh, haha, I am the ultimate evil, but then, like, wacky hijinks, like, oh, haha, it's so hard being a parent, haha, don't you understand? Like, no, I don't understand, because I'm an evil fucking arms dealer. I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand your weird relationship, Grum. I'm not going to ask what the deal with Morgana is. I don't want to know. You don't pay me at all, by the way. I don't want to know what the fuck your deal is.
Grum's at his fucking chair yelling at Broodwing. And now this is why I think the age of consent should be 13.
I mean, granted,
this is why the age of consent should be 13.
Oh, hi, Dr. Claw. No, like, but no, like, you can't even use that as an argument, because fucking Grum doesn't even want her to be the little girl. He fucking hates her being the little girl. He's annoyed by her existence.
Morgana, I'm so sick and tired of your child fetish. It's weird.
I've put effort in to make this relationship work, but it's getting on my nerves.
I can't keep paying for this. New Zealand money's going down the fucking toilet.
But yeah, like, Grum is just kind of all over like, he doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, but the worst
part is, another thing they do is, like, again, the whole thing is like, oh, we need to keep him from getting to Earth, and we need to be ready before the invasion comes. But the motherfucker can just go there at any time he wants, and he can just take human form too, because that's, you know,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
no,
whatever.
See, the worst part is, like, there's still points in the show where they still try and be like, people are still like, oh, Grum, oh my god, like not just the Rangers, just people in general.
Yeah, like, when he walks
Grum.
into like Piggy's not quite like bar, he's like a little like snack shop. Everybody immediately recognizes him, despite the fact that he's some New Zealand dude in a leather jacket, and he's in his human form. And I don't know how they knew it was him. I guess it's just magic.
I thought it was the guy who played Jango Fett.
No, honestly, it would have been cool if it was the guy who played Django.
He kind of looks like him too.
I think he was in another. I know he was in Samurai. I think.
Oh, is he the fucking mentor?
Yeah, he was the mentor in Samurai.
Oh
and he
my
was,
god,
he was
I
in
knew
another
it.
show
He
too.
looked.
But I don't remember off the top of my head.
He's probably wasn't like one of the older ones as well. No, but
Probably.
yeah, it's again overall. I think, like you said, Grum is just underwhelming underwhelming as a main villain, and then underwhelming as a side bitch. Basically,
He's underwhelming because the show and the source material aren't really built around a villain of his type. So when they try to work him in, it just comes off really weird, and it doesn't really feel necessary. And then later, when they introduce the fact that, oh, he's working for somebody else the whole time, it's underwhelming because here we have this guy who's supposed to be this big threat, but no, he's just being controlled by some other dude the whole time, I guess. Maybe he was already evil. We don't know. He just shows up. He's just a giant brain in a jar that he keeps around, then he gets bossed around by. Whatever.
it's shit. Like that's basically the way I say it. And I guess we can get on to Broodwing. So
Broodwing.
Jay, tell us about Broodwing.
I fucking love Broodwing. Broodwing is great. He is my favorite villain in the show because he is literally just Umbrella from the Sentai. He is just a greedy, evil motherfucker who's here to make money and nothing else. And that's why he's
Obviously
entertaining.
not making enough money if he's still using New Zealand
all
money.
of his schemes are literally just, I am here to make money. I don't give a shit what you're doing. I don't care what your scheme is. If I think I can make profit out of this, here's some fucking robots. Buy. Pay my bills.
Dude, literally every other second he's just like, well, if you put an extra 500 in it, I mean, maybe I can do it.
Well, if you think you can sweeten the deal a little, maybe I'll consider it. You know, like he is just a greedy asshole. He's not
great.
He's not quite as like psychotic as Umbrella because Umbrella is literally just Frieza, but he gets pretty close. He's pretty close. And that's why I like him.
Weird is the fact
what?
that like every time I hear his voice, I kind of thought like it's kind of Frieza-ish, isn't it?
I mean, AJ, fucking Umbrella is literally voiced by Frieza. You could
No. I'm talking about.
No, I know
fucking
Broodwing. I know you're talking about Broodwing, but like you literally cannot get any more Frieza than Umbrella because Umbrella is literally played by Frieza. But yes, Broodwing, like he does kind of have like that Frieza cadence to him where he's got that haughty accent to him, and he's like. He thinks really highly of himself, and he's really entertaining as a villain because, like,
hello, monkeys.
He doesn't even have a scheme. He's just here to fucking make money selling guns and evil robots and shit, and he doesn't give a shit what's going on. Like, Grum will call him in for some dumb bullshit. He's like, yeah, tell me what you fucking want, sign my check, and I'll leave. And, like, the only reason he becomes an active villain at all is because Grum stops fucking signing his checks and paying him. And he's just like, well, fuck this. I'm wasting my money getting shit destroyed by the Rangers. Now fuck the Rangers. Fuck Grum. Fuck everybody. I'm just going to blow up Earth. Fuck. I love it. He's great in this show.
He's a great villain because I love everything about him. And honestly, I mean, I know he probably wouldn't have worked, but I kind of wish he was the main bad guy.
I mean, he again, that's the thing is that he was the main bad guy in the Sentai, and it worked because he was barely involved with the fucking show. He was just there to sell shit to the villains of the week and fucked off. He had no involvement in anything. And that's what made it work is that it was a villain of the week type plot where you don't need to have a big bad because it's just like a cop drama. Sure, he becomes like the main villain in like the last third of the show when, okay, I've lost enough money battling these fuckheads. It's time to actually hurt them. And that's kind of what happens in this show. But again, it's more like, okay, I've had enough of Grum stiffing my fucking bill. I'm going to show him a lesson and do what he can't do better than he can.
Honestly, the way you describe it, I would have much rather they do that with Broodwing in this show. Just be the shady arms dealer for the villains of the week.
And like again, that's basically his role, but they shoehorn in Grum and the evil emperor trying to conquer the Earth plot, and it just doesn't work where you keep that because again, half the episodes are just Broodwing. Here's Broodwing funding some asshole with no connection to Grum or whatever, but then they still have Grum dicking around doing his shit. and it's a waste. It's a waste of time, and they didn't need to do it. They didn't need to spend the money. Again, the big thing you did it, and you said it's because Power Rangers needs that. They need to have the obvious big bad. They need to have, oh, he's going to destroy an Earth. They need to have the evil emperor type of guy. That's all of these shows have. And a guy like Umbrella, who's just like a real ass criminal, who's just here to sell shit and make money and nothing else, wouldn't work because that's I don't want to say it's too big brain, but it wouldn't work with the Power Rangers formula.
It doesn't go into the status quo of Power Rangers.
Exactly.
Because like with Power Rangers, when I usually think of Power Rangers is big bad in a spaceship for like 1/3 of the episode. Every once in a while he might make an appearance or maybe even send like a proxy of himself down. And then last third of the episode, like towards the finale, he comes down to Earth. Holy shit, we see the big bad on Earth. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Then he dies. That's what I see Power Rangers as. Because
Exactly.
that's basically how it always happens.
Pretty much. And even when they do try to steer away from it, it still ends up becoming, like you said, here's the villain sitting on his spaceship for most of the episode, and he'll send down a guy when he could easily just do it himself. The closest we get to a villain like Broodwing was Sledge in Dino Charge, because he was just there because he was trying to get fucking paid. He was only involved with the fucking Rangers because they stole shit from him and blew up his spaceship, and now he has to waste his time and money getting the shit back so he can get paid. And that's it. That's the closest we get, but he's still doing I'm sitting on my spaceship, and I'm going to send a monster down once a week so the Rangers can fight it, and the monster's going to do some stupid plan to steal the thing, and it's going to waste everybody's time, and then, okay, let's turn it giant and whatever. It's still like you're still dealt with the Power Rangers formula of the Monster of the Week plot, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work with using Deca Ranger because Deca Ranger was not that kind of show.
And I think everyone should be listening. Everyone listening should understand. We're not saying, get rid of Monster of the Week plots. They're so stupid. You can do Monster of the Week plots well. I mean, shit, the way Jay described Deca Ranger, that's a perfect way to fucking do a Monster of the Week plot. What we're saying is when they're just so lazy, where it's just like, the big bad can obviously just go down and murk everybody if he wanted to, because we know that he can, but he just doesn't because the script doesn't call for it yet.
The problem is that, again, they were lazy. I'm going to say they're lazy. They always tried to say that they didn't have the money. They were too lazy to come up with anything original, so they just copied from Deca Ranger. But whenever they decided, okay, maybe we should do something original, it is completely at odds with what happens in Deca Ranger. And it becomes this confusing mess, and everything is just... Look, I know, look, I've said before, Deca Ranger is my favorite Sentai. I genuinely wanted to, again, I remember loving this show as a kid. I wanted to go back into it, be like, oh yeah, it is as great as I remember, and it's just as great as Deca Ranger, like everybody says. But it's not. It is not. And that's the biggest problem, is that having seen Deca Ranger, this show is way worse because I can see where they cut all the corners, and I can see where, oh, here's them doing something that happened here, but here's them half-assing it, or here's them changing something, and now the entire plot is just kind of a confused mess, and nothing really works together.
See, even as somebody who has never, somebody who's never seen Deca Ranger, I can take one look at the show, and I said it on the server, I got bored because I got bored not because nothing was happening on screen. I got bored because it felt like a lot of it was just really disjointed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the amount of times that Broodwing came on screen and out of nowhere he became a very grainy Japanese TV looking motherfucker, I'm like, huh. Or how many times that I notice a little snippet of the Sentai here that, like, you know what? Anybody out there who wants to complain about fucking Super Mega Force being lazy, this show is fucking insane, dude.
It's not quite as lazy as Time Force, where they literally just have insert shots of Time Fire's human actor inserted into the footage because they couldn't be bothered to film new scenes of Daniel Southworth. But that was them deliberately trying to do a one-for-one remake of the thing. It wasn't them literally just being like, oh, well, that's going to cost too much, so let's just do this. Let's just be lazy. And, you get the feeling that, early on they're trying, because they are trying. There's a lot of original stuff early on, and you can tell that they wanted to do something, for the most part, different. But then as the show goes on, they just get lazier and lazier and lazier about it. And it's the worst part because it's just like I don't even want to say it's boring. It's just like it becomes routine and it's disappointing. There's a lot of things in the show that like are disappointing. It's like because again, they always use the excuse of, well, we didn't have the money. This is what Disney didn't pay. Like I don't know how we didn't talk about him, Omega Ranger, who doesn't even have a fucking human actor for the entire show.
Which I don't even understand.
Because they Disney didn't want to pay for it, allegedly. Which, okay, so Disney didn't want to pay for another actor for the show, but they were willing to pay for all of these expensive sets, all of these expensive monster costumes, all of these other expensive sets, redoing all the shit that they didn't need to redo. There are so many things that, like, you can tell that they're trying to use budget as an excuse. The fact that they and the thing is, like, the excuse for why he doesn't have a human form is so lazy.
Oh, it fucking is.
It's like, oh, I'm a time traveler from the future, and I'm here to save you guys to correct the timeline, which then is immediately solved, and he has... The fuck is that? I don't know. Sorry about that. But then that problem is immediately solved in his debut episode, so he has no reason to stay around from the future. It doesn't make it...
Don't forget to mention that apparently, and this is another reason why it pissed me off he didn't have a human actor until like the very last second. Why of all things did you make him the kid that they randomly met in a random episode one time?
Yeah, it makes no
what
fucking...
was the point?
What was the fucking point? Like, what were you thinking? Like, why did it need to be him specifically? Because you don't do anything with it. You're just like, oh, you guys already know me. I'm Sam. It's like, what? Wow. And then they never bring it up again. It is immediately ignored. Just like,
what's her name? Decca Metal, I think it's her name.
Which one are you talking about?
The one that looks like she has a fucking alien head.
Oh, Decca Bright, yeah, who was also in one fucking episode, who they bring in right at the end with no foreshadowing because fuck it, whatever. We had an extra costume we needed to use. Again, we could afford an actor to fucking shoot that scene, but we can't afford a guy to take his fucking helmet off. Like, there are several easy ways that they could have written around it other than like, oh, something time travel, I'm a shitty CG effect, because they were spending money every time they used that CG effect. So, oh yeah, we couldn't afford a real person, but we can just do this. We can do all this other shit, but we can't afford a real person. Like, here's how you do it. They fucking did this later with Samurai when they did the RPM crossover, where it was like they couldn't get RPM Red's actor back, allegedly. Apparently he did the voiceover work. We still don't know, to be entirely honest. They have him show up, and he's in the suit the entire time. And it's like, oh, I'm used to be like the super ultra filtered fucked up environment of my dome city, so a normal human environment in like Los Angeles is like fucked up to my body, and I'll die if I don't stay morphed. Like,
I'm used to China.
Yeah, exactly. I'm used to living in Shanghai, and here in California, which is like 20% less smoggy, is still toxic to me. But like that is how you do it. Like, cut the shit about him being from the future because you don't do anything with it, and it was a waste of time. Just have him be like, again, just do what they did with Tetsu, where he is just top brass. He is just the best of SPD in the universe, basically. And he's here to mop up the bullshit that these B-rank plebs are dealing with. But he's some weird alien species, so he has to stay morphed because he can't breathe Earth's atmosphere. Bam. Bam. Solve your plot. Got rid of 2 unnecessary plot lines that you did nothing with and you wasted time on. Save you on a shitty CG effect. Hell, you could have just been lazy and maybe used, like, a monster costume that you already had lying around and just use the same fucking suit actor that you have wearing the Ranger costume. Bam. Solved your fucking problem. I don't know, like, it's fucking lazy. It was lazy as hell, and it was just confusing.
I feel like there's a lot of these points in the show where, again, like you said, they were just using budget as an excuse, because there's a lot of points in the show where I just kind of look at it and I think, if budget was really that tight, could you really have afforded to make so many out-of-suit fights? And not only out-of-suit fights, long ones, too. Like,
Could you have
2-3
afforded to
minutes
do
long.
2 fucking crossover episodes?
Oh my god, right?
Exactly. You did 2 fucking crossover episodes, which apparently you could afford because I guess they just fucking stayed around in New Zealand for like 2 months, I guess, while they were filming. But no, yeah, we can't afford another guy outside of his costume. It's like they don't even have him like hanging around in his costume half the time. He's just, they kind of forget he exists half the time. Sometimes he's there hanging around, sometimes he's not. Like he
Sometimes
just kind of
he
like
just goes
floats
away.
in and out. Exactly. And
Which is weird because they don't even get... Honestly, with a suit like that, I'm surprised they didn't give him any episodes just to himself.
Exactly, and like he has a bunch of episodes to himself in the Sentai because he's a fun character in the Sentai. Is that he's like the top brass asshole. He's kind of like Sky on steroids. He's like Hoji on steroids. He is the most by the book asshole you can be, and he was so by the books. He is the top motherfucker in like the galaxy, and he's a piece of shit. And his whole character is him learning to not be such a piece of shit by the book asshole, and that's fun, and I like that. And they don't even give him like a character arc. He doesn't even have a fucking character in the show, to be entirely honest.
Dude, I said it in the server. His character is that voice you hear. And now back to Pokemon. And fucking like that announcer voice you hear on cartoon shows. Like that's what his fucking voice is.
They have him in the debut where he's like, "Oh, I'm from the future, so I'm way better than you know, Neanderthals." But then they immediately forget about that. It's like whatever.
They immediately murk him.
Oh my god, exactly.
Like so many fucking times. It honestly, it almost bordered on like caliber. I can see the future levels of you're just making this guy look like a dick for no reason.
Man,
like,
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, but I know that was a Saber reference, and I'm just afraid now. I'm afraid.
Oh, Jay, I hear you fuming at this. God, I'm praying for you when you get to Saber. Oh, geez, you're not gonna have a time with that. Oh my god. So yeah, like with Omega Ranger, honestly, dude, there were times where I legit forgot he existed. I legit forgot he was a thing in the show for some time. I was like, wait, oh, that's right. There's another fucking Ranger in this show. I see him so little.
Well,
there
there was another Ranger because there was like fucking 9 of them. Granted, like half of, well, if you count the 2 one-shots, Cat and Nova, there were 9. Because you had the main 5, you had Omega, which is 6, and you had Shadow, Doggie Kruger, which was 7, plus the 2 one-shots, so 9. Also, then again, if you count the A-Squad douches and Boom's made-up Ranger, that's like 15.
Which I don't.
Which you shouldn't, because they don't really count. Boom especially doesn't count, because that was imaginary. I don't know how we didn't talk about Boom.
Boom is just great,
Boom's
so he
great.
should be the only one.
I'm glad they brought his
actor. He should be the only Ranger. Dude, that fucking guy lives off Power Rangers now.
Ugh, yeah, he's been in like 4 seasons in a row now. I think he's the same character in every show at this point.
He's been in 4 seasons on screen, and God knows how many seasons as a voice actor.
Oh my god,
like,
yeah,
wow.
he's been in so. I mean, granted, that happens a lot where like they'll have somebody like as an actual character, and then they're just a voice actor for the rest of the franchise, and it's fine. I like it when they do that.
I mean, hey, you know what? He's working.
Yeah, he's working. He's
working.
That's the best thing you can say about it.
I don't know how much New Zealand money's actually worth, but he's working.
Well, I don't know. This show's non-union, so they probably don't pay anything worth it at all, anyways. But
they pay you 2 goats.
Yeah.
That's still the funniest fucking. We probably should have brought it up with Piggy, but the funniest fucking thing about it was like when they sent him. Oh, we can send him to any place on Earth, and then send him to New Zealand.
They sent him to like the middle of a field on the shore of New Zealand. Which was
literally like probably like right off the camera.
Yeah, they probably sent it like 10 feet away at most. But
it's that's just behind us.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all for Omega Ranger. Who else do we have to talk about? Oh, yeah, let's talk about Nova Ranger for 5 minutes.
Yeah. She was in half of one episode, which was about as accurate as it was in the Sentai because she was in half of one fucking episode.
I mean, the only thing I have to say about her is that her suit kind of looks like the alien out of a Scooby-Doo in Area 51. If you've ever seen that movie.
That's a weird reference, but all right.
Look, dude. Look. You're lucky I didn't mention about Boom looking like Vector from Despicable Me in that one episode. Like,
I saw you post that picture, and I was like, I was kind of hoping you weren't going to bring that up.
It was either Scooby Doo or Vector. You can't have both. Well, I mean, I guess I just did. So
you did.
I guess who else do we have to talk about really?
Like nobody. There aren't really any other characters. Like there's the A Squad, who are honestly pretty interesting villains, but they don't really do anything with them because they're in the first 2 episodes, and then they die allegedly, and then they come back, but actually they're evil the whole time, and it's pretty interesting. I like how they set up like, oh, the A Squad is the best of the best of the best. Oh, Grum is so bad that he was able to stop them. Oh, wait, no, actually, they were evil the whole time and working for him. It was all a trick. Like, that was a cool aspect. I liked that they were just evil. They were just crooked cops. They weren't, like, brainwashed, or they weren't, like, replaced by duplicates or robots or anything. No, they were just assholes who worked for the bad guys because he paid them more.
And I do like the fact that they did basically tell you that in the first episode.
They foreshadow it a little too hard because you have Boom looking at them with his fucking do anything psychic powers, and he's like,
Boom.
Bridge. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Boom has psychic powers now too.
No, Boom is he's rogue. He just takes everyone's powers.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be fucking great.
Wouldn't that be amazing? It turns out at the end, I'm like rogue. I can just no clip and absorb, and I got all the powers, all of them.
He becomes like Mimic, and he can just steal everybody's powers, but he goes insane and becomes a supervillain. That'd be badass.
Oh, dude, that would be so fucking
That'd
good.
Be fucking sick. I'm surprised.
Why
they never
aren't
did
we
that.
writing the Boom comics?
I don't. Well, because we're not connected, unfortunately.
Fucking whoever's writing the Boom comics, call me. I'll write them better than you can.
Well, they're not going to call you now.
I don't fucking care.
Anyways, yeah, they foreshadow it a little too hard, where they have Bridge be like, he does his thing, and he's like, I don't know, guys, something seems a little weird. Something's a little sus with the A Squad there.
Shut the fuck up.
I didn't even mean it like that, you fuck. And then it's like, oh, they mysteriously, like, that's like, you don't really think that, like, oh, they're going to be evil or whatever until, unless you've seen the show already. Because you think it's just like, oh, maybe something's going to go weird. But, like, they kind of foreshadow it a little too hard, where it's like, oh, there's clearly something not right with the A Squad. But I think if it was just like, you have Boom just kind of like, damn it, I did it again. You just have Bridge just kind of be like, I don't know, guys, I'm feeling a little weird. I'm getting like a weird premonition here, like him being a weirdo, and they're like, oh, Bridge, you fucking spaz, shut up and get to work. I
mean, that's basically the whole show.
And like, then he turned out to be right, that there was something wrong. But either way, they don't really do anything with them. Their costumes are awful. Why did they cannibalize the Space Ranger helmets like that? I don't know. Why are they wearing fucking paintball gear? I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, what could they have done with them besides just making them regular people in SWAT gear?
That's true. Like, why didn't they just use the SWAT armor on, like, black bodysuits? That would have looked better and would have been more cohesive.
You know what? If you know what you could have done, because they did it already. Why not just say that? Why not just make them use the time suits?
Yeah,
fucking Sky's dad was apparently was fucking time res.
They could have taken the time force suits and again slapped like the SWAT armor gear on there, and bam, you have original Rangers.
Though then again, that would bring up a whole fuck ton of questions no one wants to answer.
Well, that brings up... Well, unfortunately, they already brought up those questions when they used the fucking Time Red suit, which will never be answered. And in case you're wondering... In case you're wondering, no, it has never been explained ever in the entire expanded bullshit fan canon of Power Rangers why the fuck his dad was wearing the Time Force Red suit. The obvious answer, of course, is because they just grabbed a suit and they were too lazy, and they, for whatever fucking reason, didn't just use the SPD red costume, but whatever.
I mean, to be fair, that also brings up a whole shit ton of questions of why A Squad is using the in space suits.
Yeah, like again, they kind of shoot themselves in the foot by giving A Squad different costumes than just the SPD suits, and then they have to be like, okay, well we can't just make a new costume, and we can't just give them the A Squad suits, I guess, for some reason. So, fuck it. He's Time Ranger. He's Time Force now. Whatever. I'm glad at
Don't
least
worry
they
about how it
took
fits.
the time.
Keep running.
They took the fucking Time Force badge off at the very least. I would have been really, really concerned if they left that on.
No. It's the Time Force badge, but they just slap on a sticker that says SPD on it. Oh, that'd be amazing.
That would have been great. Anyways.
Yeah, I guess that's really everybody. I guess that's pretty much it for everyone then.
The only real thing I wanted to talk about again was something with Broodwing, but that's more about the ending of the show, where the ending is just like too much shit happens because it's like they cram it all into like 3 episodes.
It feels like they had an idea for 3 different finales and smushed them all together.
Oh my god! Like,
because
okay,
you got the shit with Broodwing, you got the shit with the Magnificence, you got the shit with them attacking the space, the headquarters. You got the final attack, the final fight with Grum.
You've got the A Squad coming back, and they betray
oh my god,
Kruger.
that's right.
They fucking show up at the end of the episode before the finale, and like the entire episode isn't even about them. It's like they just fucking show up randomly at the end of the episode. Then you've got that. And that gets dealt with like for half of the episode while Broodwing is hijacking SPD base and tries to blow up the city with the giant robot. And then you have them take care of him. And then you spend the entire last fucking episode with Grum just kind of doing the same fucking thing Broodwing was already doing, except worse and lamer. And then we have a giant ugly CG monster show up that is easily defeated with the 0 effort on the Rangers' part.
And it's fucking... Honestly, dude, I had a hard time keeping up with it. It was too much.
Here's the issue with the finale, in my point, is that they did everything in the wrong order. They should have had... You should, first of all, cut the fucking recap episode, because it was, like... The recap episode wasn't necessary because it explains shit that we already... Like, we didn't need to know to figure out because it hadn't been a fucking thing up to that point. Which, granted, I guess it makes the fucking recap episode necessary because, the recap episode is explaining the plot that we hadn't explained up to this point. So we need to actually explain the plot. But then you have, again, A Squad shows up randomly at the end of, like, 1 episode. And then the entire rest of the second to last episode is dealing with them, which could have been done in the episode prior, but no, we had a bullshit arc where Jack gets a new girlfriend and he stops giving a fuck about SPD and he's dealing with that and running around like a jackass. And then you have Broodwing, doing his shit as SPD base, which they should have done second. That's the major thing, is that you should have had Grum and all of his bullshit show up and then have, don't, like, fuck it, if you want to do the big ugly CG monster, fine, whatever. Have all of that happen. Have them defeat Grum, have him start his invasion, and then once SPD is all weakened, once they're all kind of like, okay, everything's done with, they've lowered their guards, that's when Broodwing attacks the base and he hijacks the robot and starts his scheme. Because then he's, like, that makes more sense, like, plot-wise.
Yeah.
But they do everything in the wrong order, so then it becomes just kind of confusing, and then you have, like, 3 different climaxes to your plot. And this is kind of the thing I wanted to complain about the most with Broodwing, is that the finale of his arc fucks his character so hard. So again, so the entire arc is, again, him getting fed the fuck up about being treated like a bitch by Grum, him getting fucked with by the Rangers on his own evil schemes, and him just burning too much goddamn money. So he finally is like, fuck this, I'm going to kill everybody. Hatches a plan to hijack SPD base, which he does, steals their giant robot, which he does, and uses it to try to just destroy everything because he's done. He's done with this bullshit. He's done with SPD. He just wants to fucking wipe it all clean and move on. And he wins. He fucking wins straight up. He takes control. He like, it isn't until like the last second, because they were off playing grab ass with the A Squad Rangers, that the SPD Rangers finally go and stop him. And then you get the big final fight with him where he's like not even fucking around. He's not even like sending his minions. He's just straight up beating the shit out of the Rangers for the most part. And then you get the point where they get like the fight is over. They've got him like at the fucking gunpoint, and he's charging them fucking down, ready to like get shot to death as he's about to beat their asses. And then they put him in the judgment mode, which again was completely irrelevant in this show, and really only brief aside, including the judgment mode thing made sense because, like, again, you need to have an excuse for them to be able to just arrest them with magic powers or whatever. But it gets a little weird where it's like, I kind of forgot what I was going to say about it.
To me, it just felt kind of weird that they're like, sometimes they needed to actually do it, and then sometimes they just kind of been like, oh, I just click a button and you're a card now.
Well, I think the issue with it is that, like, the way they have it set up where it's basically just a fancy lie detector doesn't really make any sense, because it's like,
yeah,
okay, that automatically makes them guilty because we've got them at fucking gunpoint and we're accusing them of shit after we've already kicked their fucking asses. Like, it's simultaneously way more confusing and makes way more sense in Deca Ranger, where it's literally just them calling for a super fucking quick, like, trial against the criminal, and that's when they get the approval to... Well, in Deca Ranger, they just fucking kill them. They just execute the criminals on the spot instead of arresting them. I mean, like,
that's just Japan.
Well, I think they arrest, like, one of them ever in the entire show. Granted, in Deca Ranger, pretty much even the most generic villain of the week is usually some kind of horrible mass murderer or has committed at the very least one form of genocide. So murdering them on the spot is usually at least fair because they've usually deserved it. But here in SPD, they have them trapped in magic trading cards. Sometimes they do just straight up kill the villain of the week. There's one episode where Sky gets body swapped into a criminal, and he's like, I'm on the chopping block for deletion. I'm like, wait a second, that's not a thing in this show. That's from... Did you guys forget to scrub a line here? Because he's talking about being executed, which you guys don't do in this show. Am I missing something?
That's another thing that I kind of started thinking of right off the top of my head. As soon as it started happening, and as soon as Kat put Boom in a card, I thought to myself, okay, how do you calculate how long somebody's supposed to be in that card? Where do you execute criminals? And if not, do they die in the cards? Like, if it's an alien, do they eventually just expire in there, or are they in there for fucking ever? Like, what's going on here?
Exactly. Like, they kind of like half-assed. It's like, oh, it's just like a containment thing, so we can get them to actual prisons. But like, just leave them in the fucking card, guys. You don't need to worry about the prisons. Just get a fucking cardboard box. Bam, that's your storage facility.
Look, card with scissors. Snip, snip.
I mean, I don't know. Those looked pretty thick, so maybe
fine,
like just stab it. I guess just run it over.
Stab it. Throw it in a fireplace.
Exactly. It raises it like it kind. I don't even really care about the logistics of it because it's fine. I kind of like the concept. It's a fun little sci-fi thing. It makes a little more sense than them literally just slapping a big pair of handcuffs on them sometimes. I mean, granted, that's kind of fun and cheesy, so I like it. But no, my issue is that they get him on the scanner, and they got him, at gunpoint, basically at the end. He's been caught. They're going to put him away. And Broodwing immediately changes personality from being like full-on gung-ho, fuck all of you, I don't give a shit anymore. And he becomes a coward, whiny, sniveling little bitch, and he's pleading. He's like, "No, we can work something out. Come on, guys, don't arrest me." He completely changes character immediately, and he's like, he totally bitches out, and it ruins the impact of everything up to that point that he was doing, because it just immediately kills his vibe of being like this really cool, like, total psycho criminal he's just here because he's an asshole. He's just here for money. He's here for evil. He is here to just be evil. And now he's like, he's totally bitched out, and it doesn't make any sense.
Because they never introduced that part of his character before. They never introduced when he's like cornered that he'll be a bitch. No, usually he'll just kill people.
Like, again, even when like a criminal like stands him down, like he'll kind of like with Grum, he kind of puts up with it because it's like it's nice customer service. He's paying for my things. I'm not gonna kill him because he stiffed me on the bill once. After 5 times, I'm gonna kill him though. Like, even with like a random criminal of the week threatens him, like he fucking bitch slaps them and it's like, no, you piece of shit. I am in control here. I am the one with the power. You will do what I tell you. And then here he is at gunpoint with SPD, and he's just like, don't kill me. I can be cool. I'm cool, guys. You can work with me. We can deal. Whatever. It's like, it's so fucking lame. And then you like again, I'm trying not to compare it, but like it's hard to compare it to Deca Ranger because again, it's just them copying most of the shit. Like we've said, whenever they try to make changes, it doesn't work. Here's an instance. They fucking changed the entire final showdown with just by changing the dialogue. Because in Deca Ranger, they've got him again. They've got him caught. They've got him judged, and they're literally there with the firing squad ready to kill him. And his basically his entire dying speech is him telling the Deca Rangers to suck his fat nuts. That's it. That's his dying words, is telling them to fuck off. I hate all of you. You will never stop evil. Evil is eternal. Fuck you all. Bye. And
World is a fuck.
World is a fuck. I am here for crime. Exactly.
Oh, that's fucking great.
It kind of ruins the fun of the everything up to that point. Is just like making him like a total bitch at the end doesn't work at all because it goes against everything they had shown about his character up to that point.
And see, I think it's completely fair to judge it by the Sentai because again, this is by definition an adaptation. So it'd be like judging a movie that's adapted from a book. I say it's fair game because again, they take not only that, but they also, from as you said, they take so much from the Sentai and they make so much from the Sentai translated over, only worse. It's completely fair game. If
this was like, I don't know, pull a random show out of the top of my head, like Lightspeed Rescue. If this was like that, where that's a bad example because they do kind of copy a decent chunk. Okay, if it was more like Lost Galaxy, where basically nothing from the Sentai is really copied, I wouldn't be complaining so much about them changing it because it is fundamentally a different scenario.
Yeah.
But no, they have just copied his character. They've copied his plan down to the letter. Everything he does is basically exactly how it happens in Deca Ranger. But then when they changed his dialogue there, it completely deflates everything because now it just doesn't really work for him, and it kind of kills the fun of the finale, and it's kind of disappointing.
No, and I completely understand, and I can completely agree with you. Because again, even for me, like, why would you do that to a character that up to this point, to for lack of a better word, was a very calculating, cold, brooding bad guy? Like, he was perfect the way he was. So now that he's just some, again, like you said, just some bitch. Well, okay, I guess. Don't really know why he turned into that the last second, but whatever.
I don't know.
See, that's the thing. It is bad. It was a bad move from the do. But again, there's a lot of those little instances in this show where it's just like, I don't really get what you're going for, or, well, I get what you're going for, but it's not really working the way you expect it to. It's a lot of things way too compact, and especially in the finale, like we were saying, there's too much to smush in there, and a lot of it, honestly, dude, there's some stuff I'm pretty sure I would have to go back and watch again. Because it was so much, I'm just like, I have no idea. My mind is fuzzing over from how much is going on.
Yeah, no, the finale is kind of a clusterfuck, especially when it's like, oh, here's a new ranger. Oh, here's like an extra batch of SWAT rangers. Oh, here's all this other cannon fodder guys. And it's like, it's okay, all right, enough, guys. We don't need any more of this. We don't need more people here on screen.
Yeah, sadly. But I think with that, I think we can start going into our final thoughts. So, Jay, I will give it to you because you seem to have more to say about this than I do.
Well, first things first, The theme song is 100% the best part of the show because
Oh,
it's
this
Ron
theme song's
Wasserman.
fucking great.
I mean, it's hard to beat Ron Wasserman, of course.
Look, the theme song is legitimately one of those songs where I'm just like, I could legit listen to this all fucking day. Like, it's a fucking great song.
It is.
Hasbro, where are you? Hire this man.
Hire this man. Hire him.
I've heard fucking Dino Fury's theme. You're fucking cheaping out, Hasbro. What the fuck?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure he would be more than happy to drop whatever he's doing to go back to Power Rangers, guys.
Especially for that Hasbro money.
Oh yeah. Anyways, again, I really kind of wanted to be like, oh yeah, this show is still as good as I remember, because again, everybody's like, oh yeah, it's the best one of the franchise, and like, I mean, again, I compare it to Time Force, where Time Force is good not because it is copying what Time Ranger did, even though it is 100% copying Time Ranger. Time Force is good because it is still a quality show that has a concise idea and like a clear mode. Like, I don't want to say motive. They know what they have a plan. Like Time Force, again, Time Force is them deliberately trying to remake Time Ranger. It's kind of the same situation as that. Both shows where the producers were just too fucking lazy to do anything original. So they're like, let's just copy the Sentai word for word. But with Time Force, I keep saying Time Ranger because they're so similar. Time Force, it is, this show is just this good. We're going to do it, but we're going to make changes, but we're going to try and make it as coherent as possible. And there's a plan. They know what they're doing. They want to still make it its own thing while still remaking the original. It stands on its own, and having seen, again, I haven't rewatched Time Force since I was like fucking 6, but I've seen Time Ranger, and I want to see Time Force again because I've seen bits and pieces of Time Force again over the years. I'm like, oh, this is still good, especially now that I've seen how they did it in Time Ranger. I want to see how well the show entirely holds up. And that's kind of how I wanted to be going to this. It's like, okay, well, now that I'm older, now that I've seen Deca Ranger a lot, I want to go into this and be like, okay, I want it to be as good as I remember. I want it to hold up compared to Deca Ranger because I know they do copy a lot of it. And it doesn't. Because them copying it is not because they deliberately want to bring over this experience to a new audience. It's just because they were too lazy and they didn't have the money to write new episodes. We were, to quote the producer, we were paid to translate, not to write content, which fuck you guys. Fuck you, no you weren't. It was them being just like too fucking lazy to do anything original. And that's the problem, is that when they start doing stuff original early on, and that sets the tone for the show, but then they start doing more and more stuff that is just copied wholesale, and it makes the show just this fucking clusterfuck of ideas that don't work together. They don't have any kind of clear, concise plan for the show. It's just kind of disappointing to me. That's the best way. Like, I'm disappointed because I wanted it to be like I remember. Again, I know that's always the trap, of course. I remember this being good. Oh, of course it wasn't good because I'm a dumb kid and it was nostalgia. But even nowadays, everybody still fucking talks it up like it's the best thing ever. I'm like, all right, clearly there's still something here. But I've seen, like, now that I've seen it's very much a knowing how the sausage is made scenario where I've seen Deca Ranger, so now I know all of the show's tricks, and it's nowhere even near as close.
So, for me, it was a very weird experience, and I'll admit straight up, I was kind of dreading doing this episode, Jay, and I'll tell you for why. Because, for one, while watching it, there was a lot of things I didn't say, because I was thinking to myself, am I just thinking about this too hard? Am I being too harsh? Am I just being an asshole to the show? Is there a point where your brain isn't thinking about it? It just notices it. It just knows that it's not that great. Because around episode 23, I just started thinking to myself, like, this isn't that great. there's a lot of stuff I like. There's a lot of stuff that's fun. There's a lot of stuff that's interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I could think could make a good show, but it's not that great. Of course, it's not bad. It's not. Again, we've watched Operation Overdrive. It's not Operation Overdrive, but it's also not this fucking pinnacle of Power Rangers that some people say. And again, this is coming from somebody who has never seen Deca Ranger. I've said this before. I have never seen Deca Ranger. I've never even seen a fucking clip of Deca Ranger. I've listened to the opening. I love the opening, but I've never, ever, ever seen Deca Ranger. Any bit of it. And even to me, this show's failings is just the fact that it just kind of comes off as lazy or disjointed, or at times both. And it comes off as just like, I'm not thinking about this too hard, and I'm not being a prick. This is just a dumb show. This is just bad at times. And I wish I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not. The show is not that great at all. And I kind of think that, honestly, Jay, I hate to say it, but I kind of think a lot of people were on your boat where they remember it being amazing when they were kids. And now, looking at it through an objective lens and seeing it again, I wasn't really thinking about the.
Well,
like,
I mean,
hard.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was not super objective because I admit I kind of watched the show with bias because like, I fucking love Deca Ranger, dudes. I fucking love it. It's so
I
fucking
get that.
good. But I was trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna give it a fair shot. But yeah, it just pales in comparison, especially when they're just copying what they did, and they don't copy it as good, and that's kind of the problem.
And again, that's why I'm saying, like, I went into this fully expecting it to be good. Not great, but good. And again, I went in with it like I do with every show, an objective lens. I always try and do that no matter what. And no matter how I look at it, this show is just... It is so average at times, yet it is so confusing in its choices at other times. And it's to the point where I'm like, guys, you could do better, but at the same time, I guess you could do worse. I guess.
I mean,
I wouldn't recommend this show.
Unfortunately, no. I kind of can't either. And I don't like always hating things. I try not to. I always want to be like, I want to be the contrarian here. I want to have a different opinion. I want to be like, I want to like this. No, I always end up hating stuff whenever everybody else hates it, and I don't know.
That's the thing, dude. It's the fact that it's like, you and I, well, anybody on this podcast, you, Phil, Chad, and I, we never come into a show wanting to fucking hate it. We didn't. We can't. Again, I came into the show having not seen it. Again, I haven't even watched the full thing when I was a kid. I only watched a couple episodes. But having not seen this show fully through as it should have, honestly, I was expecting it to rock my socks off because everybody had told me how great it is. Everybody had told me how amazing it was. And I was like, all right, cool. I am totally into this then. And I'm sorry, but it's not great, guys. I'm sorry. It's just not. And I think once you take off the goggles of nostalgia, you'll start seeing a lot of the problems that we've mentioned here today. Even if you've never watched Deca Ranger.
Yeah. No.
It's just not great. Not great. Not at all. I guess with that, I guess that's pretty much everything we have to say on Deca Ranger. I mean, Deca Ranger, it's SPD. Oh my god, how many times did I say Deca Ranger when I meant SPD?
You know
Holy
what?
Shit.
I think that was the first time. I think that was honestly the first time you made a mistake.
Thank fucking God. I was about to be like, oh shit. I'm going to have to go back into editing and be like, and then I was talking about SPD.
No, you know what? You take me saying SPD and you edit over your mistakes.
But yeah, I think it's sad to say, but this show is not as great as people think it is. Which, Jay, I will say right now, makes me really scared for when we officially do RPM, because fucking hell.
I mean, you know what? I've never actually seen RPM, so
never have I.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm just kind of scared because what if we watch it and it's just like, oh god, this is actually garbage.
Ugh.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no. We're going to have the ire of one person. Well, with that being said, there is no wheel this week because for the next 2 weeks we are officially booked. So what's going on? It's simple. Next week is the ending of Girl Gun Lady, which I've been reviewing on YouTube, and Jay hasn't watched yet, but it's only 10 episodes, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So
it's not. I'm not going to be like AJ, where I'm watching an entire 50-episode show in like 2 days because I didn't fucking watch it until then.
Well, Neil, that's all I got to say to you.
No.
So
Scott.
Jay's gonna be.
I don't know. Fuck it.
So Jay's gonna be watching what do you call it, Girl Gun Lady. And that should be coming out next week, and then after that is our review of Xade, and I'm really scared about that one because fuck, I hope it's not I hope it's not shit. Oh god, oh god, I'm scared of that. I remember liking it a lot when I watched it the first time. I remember loving it.
I've had people who have seen Xade after the show ended, not watching it live after surviving Ghost. Barely. And they're like, yeah, this show kind of sucks. It's like, it's all right. It's mediocre. I'm like, I don't know if we watched the same show, and that's kind of that's kind of where we're both in the same boat. I'm kind of afraid that we didn't watch the same show because we were just so beat the fuck down from Ghost that we took the most mediocre shit as being good.
I was still getting over my depressive heroin hangover after Ghost. I was just like, I'm just done with life. So
if I didn't enjoy Xade, I would have been the Ghost.
Fuck you, dude. Jesus Christ. So after Girl Gun Lady, which should be fun because I actually really am interested in what Jay thinks of that show. It'll be Xade, and then after that, I guess it's just the wheel, unless I can kind of think of an idea of something else to re-review. But I think Xade is a good thing to re-review for now.
Yeah, unless something by sheer coincidence comes up when we do it. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck happened to Firefox? What is this ugly shit? God, fucking. I hate technology.
I mean, unless Zenkaiger ends right after we do Xade.
I hope not. I hope not. The show's been good. I don't want it to end this early.
You just hear the fucking director. Oh, fuck it! Stop while you're ahead, kid. Ended at what is it? Episode.
It's like
15?
episode 15 right now. Yeah.
Oh my god, shortest Sentai ever.
Jeez.
That would be horrifying, actually. You know what? I shouldn't say I want it to happen, but it would be interesting to see the shit show that would come out of that. So yeah, that's the plan, and we're sticking to it. Fuck you. Go watch Decker Ranger. I guess I can recommend it because Jay likes it. So
yeah.
There you go.
It's fun. It's fun.
Is it though?
It is fun. Yes.
Okay. Well, as long as it has Frieza in it, it'll be fine.
It does. It does have Frieza in it.
That's all I need. I just need Frieza because anything that guy's in, there's like a 99% success rate of anything that guy's in is usually fucking great.
It's got Frieza. It's got Tetsuya Inada. I'm pretty sure the guy who plays Piccolo is the narrator. I don't remember off the top of my head.
What the fuck?
There's a couple of other oh wow, this guy is in the show kind of roles, but I don't remember any of them off. None of them are significant characters either way.
Okay, I was like, oh, is this gonna be a huge ass Dragon Ball reunion? Just everybody comes.
No. It
in?
doesn't go any crazier than that unless you count. Well, I mean, if you count Tetsuya Inada because he's Nappa now, and I think he's somebody else in Dragon Ball. I forget who.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was in Kai, I think, and whenever they use him in games now, but.
Huh, how weird. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know they'd replaced it. Then again, I don't remember Nappa's Japanese voice.
I think his original VA died at some point. I think it is. I don't remember. I don't really give a shit about Dragon Ball because I'm not a homo. So.
Yes, you are.
That was the joke, AJ.
I don't know when you're joking anymore.
Good.
That's the scary part.
That's the objective. That's the objective.
That's the objective, huh? Power Rangers. See you guys.
Power Rangers to the rescue.
Don't be
Wherever
racist. That's all I gotta
it is
say.
you are, near or far, save the universe.
Shyler Tate says, "Don't be racist, kids."
Unless
See you
they're a
next week.
cyborg.
Fucking Cybees. See you next week, everybody.
And fuck muties. And stop.